Hi, welcome back to another update on the Nick is not green super mega situation. Now the first thing that I want to talk about actually has a lot more to do with Dawn, the person who, despite, being involved in the alleged inciting incident that occurred, has pretty much been completely vacant and largely undiscussed throughout this entire drama. As I've said before in the videos I've made about this in the past, this situation very much devolved, and by taking the focus, obviously, off of, Lex's story, and using that as a platform to very targetedly attempt to cancel Super Mega, people like NickisnotGreen have very successfully, seemingly, yes, distracted from this inciting incident that apparently occurred. That obviously being that Dawn DRRR allegedly assaulted Lex Updog. Of course, the best resource for understanding this whole situation and it's particularly kind of the conflictory nature of the original, allegations specifically towards Super Mega, Turkey Tom has the best video on this subject. The false allegations of Super Mega, very just thorough video. And since her video, over the course of the last 3-4 months now, basically, the vast majority of what she brought to the table in regard to, Super Mega being complicit or trying to cover up what Dawn allegedly did has been very heavily disputed. In my opinion, with, a decent amount of merit. Of course, there were mishandlings with the situation, but as I kind of, indicated even in my first coverage of this, it wasn't super clear to me that it came from a place of malice, as it obviously was framed by people like Nick is not green very vehemently and heavily and extremely pointedly, with him obviously uploading his first video, Super Mega are horrible people.
Of course, I'm going to take the side of a personal friend of mine when she comes out with a story about her own sexual assault. This isn't like an online, normal thing where I look at all the facts and I make a decision. No. My friend was assaulted and never felt like she was able to be heard. And obviously, I believe her word.
Which is now unlisted, as well as Nick's response to that video, unlisted, and then his response to the backlash from his videos, also privated. So Nick has pretty much completely disappeared, tried to, kind of scrub or just gone a little bit aggressive with backing away and moving past this whole situation without really facing the mirror, without really truly taking accountability. His best attempt though at that was certainly his video, I should say the part of his video about some Mr. Beast drama. The first part, he basically says he knows he messed up in his coverage, he'll be more careful in the future, whatever. And so while that can be seen as kind of, a best outcome, more or less, he claims he won't be doing this again, whatever else you want to say. In reality, of course, his actions will speak a lot louder than his words. And so far, his actions, immediately after, taking accountability, were to go back on his word and private and kind of obscure all of his, past videos about this, which is certainly interesting. It certainly speaks to a level of flip-floppiness or unreliability or whatever you want to say, or unconfidence from Nick. Of course, I would understand why he would be, I guess, uncomfortable or unconfident in keeping those videos up, because they make him look horrendous. If you know anything about the situation, he is pretty much a blatant liar, proven liar. Again, he might convince himself he's not. I would argue not likely to be the case, based on the fact that he can't even admit that the intention of his original video, Super Mega, full of horrible people, was to cancel Super Mega. Yeah, I definitely understand the amount of cope that might be going through his mind. Now, why am I making a video about this? Well, in the last coverage that I did, Nick is not green is a bad friend, there was a very weird moment in his video where he said he is no longer associated with anyone involved in this, Super Mega situation.
Of course, I'm gonna take the side of a personal friend of mine.
My such good friend Nick is not green. Nick, truly show me true friendship.
I do not associate myself with anyone involved.
What? Ethan and Lex, are they not your actual friends?
Someone that I'm personally friends with, Lex, and she's also the partner of one of my very good friends. Ethan is online.
Which hit my brain in the weirdest way, because the entire crux of him making his initial video backing Lex as vehemently, aggressively as he did, but of course using it as a way literally to cancel Super Mega, was that Lex was his friend. It was also the justification he gave for not having an affinity to truth, not caring what the truth is, not being interested in the facts. The reason for that, according to him, is because Lex is his friend. And so what shocked me was that by my definition of a friend, any YouTube drama, any controversy I experience online should ideally not lead to the complete, immediate severing of my relationship with, again, this is just my opinion, my friends. Especially, an important clarification, when Nick has, again, like, of course, doubled down that he believes Lex's story. He thinks, as a victim, she needs to be supported, all this stuff. And yet the way he worded it in his video, I was like, wait, so are you just not friends with her now? And when I released that video, I was thinking in my head, maybe he just misspoke, But no, we just got evidence, to suggest otherwise in the form of this post on Nick's own Reddit, which at this point, on this issue especially, Nick's Reddit has pretty much completely turned on him, in my opinion, as they should. Like, his behavior or whatever has been pretty egregious for someone who seems to kind of take themselves seriously online as like a reporter. Again, that's of course his own framing, right? He has literally stated that his role in the Super Mega situation was just as an objective reporter.
I know that people will continue to relentlessly claim otherwise, but I do not have any ulterior motive for my videos made on Super Mega. I do not have any reason to want them to get canceled, nor do I think they should suffer non-existence from the internet because of this situation.
Which is delusional. Basically, Ethan and Lex have both unfollowed Nick, and Ethan has removed Nick from his Friends of the Channel tab. Trouble in Paradise, okay. So aside from this, just at this point, being juicy fucking gossip, you have no real reason to care about this at this point. All this speaks to is that when Nick said, I am no longer associated with anyone involved, he seemingly was literally actually speaking of his friends. He actually was saying, because of this drama, I am not associating with these people that I literally leveraged as the reason for why I was involved in this situation. And so that, to me, just kind of validates what I was saying in the last video, which is these are not people who view friendship similarly to me. Again, you can, of course, have whatever perception you want. But in my mind, the ideal friend that you would have is not someone who will just opportunistically motivate you, encourage you, blindly go through with any plan or ideas that you have, and then once those ideas blow up in your face, abandon you. No, and again, I'm not saying anything controversial here. It's just, no, you want a friend who will help you face the mirror, right? People act as mirrors. They reflect what you are. What you want is someone who will honestly communicate how you're reflecting, how you're being seen through their lens, what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. And if you fuck up, make a mistake, they won't instantly drop you. They'll give you the benefit of the doubt, or they'll acknowledge you made a mistake, but at least hold out and see if, you make the changes to whatever, better yourself, right? Nick has indicated here that he's not interested in doing that whatsoever. If you're his friend and you fuck up in a way that affects him negatively, that brings him heat, he will abandon you. Even if you're a victim, even if you work with him, you're a collaborator, and even if he was excited to be a part of what it was you planned. And so in life, what you should be looking for are people who will practice parrhesia, okay? This is an ancient Greek philosophic idea brought forth by, Socrates, Plato, whatever, which is the idea of the ideal friend or the noble truth, okay? Which basically means you should aspire with the people who you actually think you are friends with to tell them the truth that is not convenient to you, right? If we're talking pure convenience, pure clout chasing, whatever you want to say, that occurs probably pretty fucking aggressively in the LA landscape that Nick has inserted himself into, then why would you ever criticize someone that you're trying to cozy up to, that you think you can gain something from? No, most people do want yes men. Because, especially in the influencer world, egos, you got to protect them at all costs. They're very fucking fragile. And so it becomes easy, the more influence you have, to attract people who will just egg on or go along with any fucking ideas you have, because they see a potential benefit. What a true friend would do, someone who's actually invested in you becoming the best version of yourself, a philosopher king, who has an affinity to truth, would be to communicate directly when you think your friend is fucking up. This doesn't mean be a dick, don't always put them down. It just means care about them enough to bring clarity to their own lens of how their actions are affecting others or being perceived. Right? So, I mean, if you have a friend who all of their exes, you know, they were always the problem completely and utterly, hey, maybe that's true. A real friend would communicate if there are some flags being raised where it's like, hey, maybe some of those problems were, a result of your own issues, right? These are the types of people you want to have around you. Not dickheads, not cynical pricks. People who want to hold you accountable to your own reflection, to your own claims that you put out online, claiming you fucking care about your friends, claiming that you're just trying to be a journalist, be objective. No, any real friend of Nick would confront him on that being complete cope, a lie, delusional, and indicative of a very bad friend. Okay, and if you look at what Nick did with his involvement in this situation and toward Super Mega specifically, when you blatantly misconstrue information that has already been completely disproved, make assertions on extremely flimsy evidence, and then just blatantly lie about your intentions, well...
That is the definition of attacking someone in bad faith.
Well, you might not be able to kill an idea. You sure as hell can kill a person. Bad faith? Sounds kind of cool, to be honest. I think I'm gonna make that my first merch line.
It's been such a long time coming.
Little cheeky ad spot there. But yes, if you can go to the Goka Merch website, there's some very cool stuff in the works there. You definitely do not want to miss out on the first ever Bad Faith drop, okay? It's going to be very interesting, okay? We're trying to be a little bit innovative, in the YouTube landscape especially, with our art styles, but even just kind of like the story that we're building around the merch, right? We want it to feel like something that is worth it. And I do think that we provide solid value. Like, we really don't charge a lot. And that might change, I don't know. But for this drop, we just wanted to keep it cheap so that my fucking OGs basically could, I guess have more odds of getting in on it. Obviously, just watching my videos, though, in general, is the best form of support. Let's now go into what has occurred with Don DRRR. This was the individual who, again, allegedly assaulted Lex. Obviously, the person who should kind of be the center of this, more or less. He has chosen to pretty well completely disconnect from public life, but he is still working or present on the internet in some capacity. People are, notifying others that basically he is active under another name. People, please be wary of the account Saraminan. Fucking fuck off. I don't care. This is 90% likely the alt account of alleged SAer Don DRR/Soft Don. Don has already been trying to come back through Patreon, even though he promised to stay off of social media for a long time. This is definitely interesting, I guess, to say the least. Don's whole response to the situation has been pretty contrite, but also sparse. He gave basically his two initial accounts, right, which do disagree with Lex's version of events. And then he completely fucked off. He has not poked his head out to say anything about any of this. And so, yeah, I mean, it seems he's basically just still trying to, make a living as an artist under another pseudonym. This is evidenced by the fact that for his Patreon-only streams, or at least one of them, he used this little fake kind of like avatar little webcam. Oh my god, look, it's like me. Sorry, what? Anyway, this art style that he used in the past basically is very reminiscent of the art style used here. So, just for your awareness. And so, yeah, at this point, the main thing I want to do is just shine a light on people who I think are doing really good coverage on this. Specifically, somebody who has impressed me just a tremendous amount is Jimmy Robbins. This is honestly, in my opinion, an underrated commentator completely. High potential individual. I'm a fan of him, I can say. And he just uploaded this video on Nick is Not Green. Absolutely doing numbers, which I'm happy to see because I like when people, who I think are very grounded or whatever, very high affinity to truth, right? They have a loyalty to being just kind of trying to be truthful or whatever. When they succeed. And so yeah, this video is dope and it is certainly worth watching. One of the best things I would say about Jimmy is that he's thorough. Okay, he really likes bringing the receipts, and I'm a big fan of that. Right, I usually try to do the same thing.